Hello children, welcome to Standard 8. In this video, we will start with the first chapter in science, that is living world and classification of microbes. Now first, we will see why there is a need to classify these microbes or why there is a need to classify all the organisms. So children, have you ever visited a library? You must have seen that the books are kept in different sections. If you ask the librarian for a book related to maths, the person knows exactly where to search for the book. It is because they group the books according to the subject so that it becomes less time consuming to search for books. In the same manner, children, on earth, do you know how many organisms are present? So, there are around 87 million different species of living organisms found on earth, which include both on land and water. Now, to study so many different species of organisms, it is essential for us to divide them into groups. And that is the reason why we have divided them into different groups. Let's learn few terms. You have already learned about them in your previous classes, but here we'll just revise them. First is unicellular. Unicellular means organism which is made up of only one cell. Multicellular organisms which are made up of more than one cell. For example, we human, plants, animals. Prokaryotes are unicellular organisms. These prokaryotes, they do not have a well-defined nuclear membrane. Eukaryotes, they have a well-defined nuclear membrane, and also cell organelles are present. They can be either unicellular or multicellular. If they are multicellular, they can have cell wall or they cannot have cell wall. If they have cell wall, they are plants. If they do not have cell wall, they are animals. Autotrophic, who can prepare their own food. For example, plants. They have chloroplast in them, and through photosynthesis, they can prepare their own food. Next is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic, those who cannot prepare their own food. Like we humans, we depend on others for the food. Saprotrophic are the organisms which feed on the dead organisms. Now here you can find the cell of eukaryote and a prokaryote. Now both are unicellular, but here you can find that there is no nucleus, proper nucleus is not present. Both are having cell membrane, both are having DNA, but nucleus is not present. That is why this is a prokaryotic cell. But here if you will see, proper nucleus is present, nuclear membrane is also present, and different cell organelles are also present. Here we have an animal cell and a plant cell. Now the main difference between animal and a plant cell we'll be studying in another chapter. But here the animal cell we do not have a cell wall. But here in plant cell you can see cell wall is present. So children, these were few terms in this chapter. You need to remember these terms. Now we know that so many different species of organisms are present on Earth, but the question is how to divide them into groups. There should be some system to group them. So, many researchers gave different system to divide these organisms. The first one was Carl Linnaeus in 1735. He divided the living world into two kingdoms, that is, Vegetabilia and Animalia. All the plants were included into Vegetabilia kingdom and all the animals were included into Animalia system. Then next, to simplify it, Haeckel in 1866 considered three kingdoms, that is Protista, plants and animals. So all the unicellular organisms can be included into Protista, plants will be included in plants kingdom and animals can be included in animal kingdom. Then next came Chatin in 1925. He simplified the division again and he came up with to divide the organisms into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So prokaryotes will be the unicellular organisms without well-defined nucleus And eukaryotes will be unicellular organisms as well as multicellular organisms with well-defined nucleus and all the cell organelles. Then to simplify this, in 1938, Copland divided the living organisms into four kingdoms. That is kingdom Monera, which will include the unicellular organism which do not have the nucleus, that is well-defined nuclear membrane. And the protista will be having the unicellular organism which has a well-defined nucleus, and plants and animals. Then again to simplify this, Robert Harding Whittaker in 1980 came up with five kingdom classification system. In this five kingdom classification, we have five kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, plants and Animalia. Now Robert Harding Whittaker's system is readily accepted to classify the organisms, and currently we classify the organisms into these five kingdoms only, children. So children, let's now study the five kingdom classification that was given by Robert Harding Whittaker. Now what he did is he divided all the organisms into two first, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Do you all know what are prokaryotes? Prokaryotes are the unicellular organisms which do not have a well-defined nuclear membrane. So all the organisms which do not have the well-defined nuclear membranes were included into the kingdom Monera. So this is the first kingdom, that is kingdom Monera. Which organisms are included in kingdom Monera? All the unicellular organisms, or you can say the prokaryotic organism which do not have a well-defined nuclear membrane. Next is eukaryote. Eukaryotes are divided into unicellular and multicellular. Now here these unicellular organisms, they have a well-defined nuclear membrane. So all the organisms who are unicellular and have a well-defined nuclear membrane are included into the kingdom Protista. Next is multicellular organism. Now multicellular organism like we humans or the other animals and plants also. So the multicellular organisms can be divided into two. First is with cell wall and without cell wall. So if they have a cell wall, they are divided into two, that is phototrophic and heterotrophic. Phototrophic is those who can prepare their own food. So all the plants can prepare their own food. So that is why kingdom Plantae include all the plants who can prepare their own food. Heterotrophic, who cannot prepare their own food and depend on the other for the food. So all the organisms or the plants who cannot prepare their food, those were included into the kingdom Fungi. And the organisms, those who do not have cell wall, that is animals, all the animals were included into kingdom Animalia. Now these are just the kingdoms. Again you have subgroups, subclasses and all that you will be studying in the later standard. So this way five kingdom classification was made, that is kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Plantae, Fungi and Animalia. Now, for classification of organisms, Robert Harding Whittaker considered few criteria. So, these criteria include complexity of cell structure, that is whether the cell is prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell. Second was complexity of organism, whether the organism is unicellular or it is multicellular organism. Next was the mode of nutrition, whether it is autotrophic, which can prepare their own food, heterotrophic, which cannot prepare their own food and depends on others for their food, or saprophytic, that is they absorb from the dead organism. Also, lifestyle was considered, whether the particular organism is a producer or it is a consumer or a decomposer. And the last criteria was the phylogenetic relationship. The relationship between the organisms were considered, that is from prokaryotic to eukaryotic, the evolutionary relationship that comes under the phylogenetic relationship. From unicellular to multicellular, those or how they have evolved, that relationship was considered. These were the five criteria which was considered by Robert Harding Whittaker. And according to these criteria, the five kingdom classification was done. So children, this was all about the five kingdom classification given by Robert Harding Whittaker, and we also studied the criteria for the classification. So there are five kingdoms: Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. In the next video, we will be studying about these five kingdoms. Thank you for listening, children. Hope you all understood. Until then, take care of yourself and stay safe. Bye bye.